everyone, my name is Kinsey and today I will be sharing with you about technology-enhanced instruction. In this video, I will introduce you to 3 educators that all use technology to varying degrees. Then I will share with you how each of these educators answered different questions regarding technology using a survey that I created. To create this survey, I referenced the International Society of Technology Education Standards for Educators. Next, I will analyze a lesson plan that includes technology for strengths, weaknesses, and improvements. Finally, using what I learned in the ISTE standards for students, I will share a checklist that I plan to follow when creating instruction using technology. Alright, so let's get the ball rolling and meet our teachers. So we're going to start out with Dennis.
I've taught 9th graders in San Diego, California. The school I taught at High Tech High was well funded, and students of typically marginalized demographics and communities had access to the most unbelievable tech.
And Rory.
I teach students in China ages from 3 to 11 and I am based in the UK. The students generally learn remotely on computers, iPads or tablets. Some even take the class on smartphones.
And Emily.
I teach ESOL middle school and high school students at a NATO Department of Defense school. Our school does not have much technology utilization. I have my work laptop and one other laptop. There is a computer lab that I can sign up to use. I use the smartboard almost every day.
The question is, when integrating technology into lesson plans, how do you utilize other professional resources, i.e. current research, other teachers, use of global learning networks, and how do you reflect on the effectiveness of the implementation of your lesson? The aspects of the ISTE standards addressed in this questions are, is the educator a learner and is the educator a collaborator? Dennis said,
I use my network of teachers extensively. Pretty much everyone in the teaching profession has a collection of tech tools that they work with. In the same way, I'm a member of 5 or 6 professional communities on Facebook and LinkedIn where educators share tech-driven resources and project ideas. Reflection is a big part of the learning process in general, so I make sure to reflect upon the effectiveness and impact of the tech I'm using. My favorite way to do this is by making videos and sharing them with the school community.
Rory's reply was,
as I teach online, I don't have access to peers on a face-to-face level to discuss changes, so online sources such as teaching groups help me gain practical advice on changes happening in the environment. It also helps to work as a place to express difficulties or discuss tactics to deal with situations that rise with lesson planning. I am not just getting advice from one pool of teachers but a multicultural array of people from different parts of the globe.
Emily's response was,
I get most of my technology integration ideas from fellow teachers during our collaboration times or during training that our school puts on. I get some ideas to use from my husband who is also a teacher.
The next question is, describe an activity or activities where you have encouraged your students to be responsible researchers who find reliable sources and are actively engaged in their learning process with a degree of enthusiasm. The aspects of the ISTE standards addressed in this question are, the educator should be a citizen, a designer, and a facilitator. Dennis said,
we did a project on fake news production where I taught students how to do a simple web hack to change the source text of a news article so that the headline and supporting article are fake, and how to share it on certain social media groups and forums to echo the effects of biased and flat-out bogus media. We also collaborated with a pilot study conducted by a local group of psychology professionals, which all of the students found to be helpful in stimulating dialogue.
Rory's reply was,
when I was teaching in a traditional classroom in South Korea, I created a research project for my high school students to do some research into their dream university. They had never done this kind of research in English, so I showed them how to look through sources such as Google or Wikipedia as they were used to use in Korea-specific search engines. Some originally tried to just copy what they found in Korean and translate to English, but I showed them how Naver Translate caused a lot of errors. The point of this lesson was to let them develop creative thinking in English and to do a PowerPoint presentation in English. It was great because it showed them the key buzzwords to help when doing research and gave them confidence and a skill that had a physical benefit as we recorded them to show their parents.
Emily's response was,
students had to pick a topic to present an oral presentation on. 5 minutes. They were able to choose the topic and had to back up their main idea with 2 credible sources. They were limited to sources Britannica and Newsela. The students were excited because they got to present on a topic that interested them.
Now I'm going to be reflecting on a lesson plan that Emily sent me. Her lesson plan is called a Vox video. For the Vox video activity, the students will watch the video 4 times. The first time they write down 2 vocabulary words from the worksheet as they are said in the video, and then they discuss the main idea as a class. The second time, the teacher writes the vocab words on the board as they are being said, and they discuss the part of speech as a class. The third time, students answer questions 1 and 2 from the worksheet and discuss the answers with their partner. Finally, the fourth time, they answer questions 3 and 4 from the worksheet and they discuss it with their partner. Here's a short clip of the video used for this lesson.
Your wedding day is supposed to be the happiest day of your life. So why do these people look like they're going to a funeral? But it wasn't just formal occasions. It was teens, children, and lots of people with mustaches. Why didn't people smile in old pictures? The simplest explanation is exposure time.
So now I want to talk about some of the strengths and weaknesses of Emily's lesson plans. One of the strengths is the use of technology furthers the instruction. The students get to listen to an American accent of an English speaker, and they get to see the written words on the screen about the topic. Students also get to collaborate as a whole class and as partners. Some of the weaknesses include it's only limited to 1 screen. Students cannot pause the video if they need to. And finally, the students do not have a choice on the topic. Some improvements could be that Emily could request the computer lab so that students can work individually on a project like this and pick their own topics. Another improvement could be allowing the students to choose their own partners. The downside of these improvements is it may cause the activity to take much longer. I believe the learning objectives for this lesson can be met from this lesson plan. The objectives are: students will be able to identify new vocabulary words in a video and collaborate with peers to determine the definition. Students will be able to write an authentic sentence with one of the new vocabulary words. Students will be able to answer questions that relate to a text they have listened to multiple times. The ISTE standards for educators that were met for this lesson plan are the designer, and more specifically, the educator designed authentic learning activities that aligned with content area standards and used digital tools and resources to maximize active, deep learning. And also as a facilitator. More specifically, Emily managed the use of technology and student learning strategies in digital platforms. She also fostered a culture where students take ownership of their learning goals and outcomes in both independent and group settings. I used all of my research from this project, and I collaborated with my classmates on our March Cohort 2 Google Docs page to come up with a checklist for technology inclusion in lesson planning that I will use in the future. 1. Does the activity encourage students to practice safe online behaviors? 2. Does activity encourage students to learn from a variety of resources that they properly give credit to? 3. Does activity allow students to express themselves creatively and make active choices in their learning? 4. Does activity encourage students to work with each other and/or global resources to come up with innovative solutions and products? And 5. Does activity teach students about content as well as technological solutions?